First of all, I'd like to say thank you to everybody who subscribed to the new YouTube channel and everybody who shared and viewed and commented and gave the utmost support for yesterday's video. Today I actually wanted to talk about how we inadvertently create the problems that we have. We may not do it on purpose. Some people do it on purpose. Some people are raised to be prejudicial in whatever way. There's a reason why society looks at babies as truly innocent. The reason why society looks at babies and small children as innocent is because innocence in that form is not just free of crime. Innocence means literally that they have not been tainted by the imperfections of humanity. So when they haven't been tainted, they're completely pure. They have no prejudice. Nothing has been given a name to them. Nothing has been labeled. Nothing has been categorized to being acceptable or not acceptable. Their minds are still growing. They're still being taught what's right and what's wrong. It's in this way, if we really view how it is that we raise our children, potentially that could mean that every single one of us are guilty to some extent of the entire dialogue that's happening today. The entire process that happens between different cultures, and I use that term loosely because in our current state, there's really no other way to make it to where everybody can understand. So you have hip-hop culture, you have rock culture, you have country culture, you even have entire cultures of racist and prejudicial groups. You know, you have children who are brought up to be strictly Christian because that's the only way to be. You have people who are brought up to be strictly Muslim because that's the only way to be. It's not that that's wrong. But when you limit a child's experience, you ultimately limit their capabilities to understand the perspectives of others. There's no sense in denying that different mindsets exist. There's no sense in denying that because it's an absolute fact. Across the board, whether you agree or not is completely different than accepting the fact that there are differences. Differences in the way we were raised, differences in political systems, differences in religious preference. If you look at humans the same way you look at animals, which we are animals, if you look at humans the same way that you look at, say, a dog, domesticated dogs who are in a household from 8 weeks old and you raise this puppy and bring all sorts of different people over, black, white, Mexican, whatever. You bring all kinds of people over. Those dogs tend to be non-prejudicial. Now, if you keep a dog in a kennel the entire time and you do not let this dog associate with any other people other than your house, that teaches that dog that anybody who comes in that is not your family is not okay or not acceptable because you have not taught that dog that it's acceptable. Now, it works the exact same way with other animals. You can have dogs who are acclimated to the presence of a cat, acclimated to the presence of a squirrel or of a monkey or whatever you want. You can acclimate any animal to the presence of another animal if you start them while they're young. Otherwise, you're going to be working extremely hard to get them to change their mindset. My dog is no different. My dog absolutely wanted to kill our cats when we first brought her home. It was obvious that she was kennel kept for quite some time, and it's taken us 3 years to get her acclimated to the presence of our 4 cats. Now, humans work exactly the same. We're animals. We have primal instinct. We have primal tendencies. It's not until a child is taught that going around and procreating left and right is not okay for them to understand that it's not okay. And it's not okay because that's a cultural thing. There are some cultures who absolutely condone that activity, and that's their culture, which is fine. But to say it doesn't exist and shelter our children from the realities of cultural differences, not racial differences, cultural differences. Once you acclimate your child to cultural differences, there will be a better understanding from very young. They will have a better understanding on how the world works. They will be better equipped to be level-headed, understanding, empathetic, respectful. I think one of the primary causes of this is people trying to shelter their children too much. And I'm not saying expose your child super young to every single evil that the world has to offer. What I'm saying is if you expose them at an age where it's appropriate to do so in a manner that coincides with their age, I feel that we would be raising human beings to be a little bit more compassionate, a little bit more understanding of how other people operate and how other cultures operate. I mean, you can honestly look at different sections of your city, and I guarantee you will see very clear and very distinct dividing lines around who lives where. There's a reason why there's a Chinatown. There's a reason why there's a little Havana. There's a reason why all these areas are set up. And these were not set up because of us. They were set up long before us and have been maintained because we have been taught from a young age that that's the way that it's supposed to be, and that it shouldn't be that way. If you're not teaching your children to value other humans as equals, they will never value other humans as equals as long as they are surrounded by other people who also feel the same. That this person is better than this person, or this religion is better than that religion. It's not a question of what's better, because better is subjective. Who's right and who's wrong is completely subjective based on the perspective of that person and who it is that's making that judgment. Period. So to say that Christianity is the only religion that's absolutely true is false, because what about the people who are not Christian who feel the exact same way? It's the same exact mental process. It's the same thing. It's all justification for who is superior to who else based on what they feel is right. Not based on what is right, based on what they personally view is right. Now, I think if we catch children while they're young and expose them to different cultures, different people of different races and different situations, I really and honestly, truly feel deep in my heart that this world, over time, would continue to get better. But if we continue to draw dividing lines and we continue to separate out our children and our culture from other cultures, we're going to perpetuate the problem that has been existent in all humanity for centuries. It's human nature to not like what we don't understand. It's human nature to fear what we don't understand. It's the same reason a dog attacks a vacuum. It's because it's loud. It seems like it's going to do some harm to somebody or to them. There's a reason why humanity acts the way that it does, and it's because we do not act with reason. We don't truly use the intellect that we were blessed with. So think about that. Think about what it means to teach your kids. Not just about numbers, not just about letters, not just about colors, but teach them that there really are no labels in people. They're all people. They're all the same. You do that, and I promise, over time, things will absolutely improve. Do it not, and things will decline as they steadily have been for hundreds of years. Now, I'm not saying that my plan is foolproof. It obviously would probably need some refining at some point, but this is basically just a layout and a laydown, a general concept of my idea of what could potentially work. Any comments and suggestions would be appreciated, and I will gladly make a video in response to some other suggestions. Thanks again, and please subscribe. Have a wonderful day, and keep the love.